Hey everybody, it's Rugby, and this Thursday on our Trans Wolves channel. And this week's topic is role models. So, male role models, who we looked up to, or examples of how it is to be a man. And when I was very young, um, there were a few men that I looked up to. I wanted to model myself after. Of course, first one being my dad, and to this day, he still is my biggest role model. Um, Definitely good examples of what rang true within me of what it meant to be a man. So I always wanted to be like my dad. And my dad, of course, has a whole mess of brothers. So I have quite a number of uncles. And what's interesting is that they were all very different from each other. Some that were more into the religion, and then others who were perhaps just more well, some that were just very brain oriented. So they're like engineers, and brain wise, they're very studious. And then I have some that were uh, total sports jocks and die hard sports, and and then of course my dad, is kind of have a different sampling of different stuff that is definitely makes up who he is as a man. I mean, he's he's athletic, but he's also um, thoughtful. So he's always he used to go to lectures that were held at libraries and such, and such like that. So he was of the mind as well. And he was also into law enforcement, and he had been Marines. So, there's definitely, he was very tough and strong. Still is to this day. He's kind of a badass. Um, so, I had examples of what different men were like, and there was no debating that they were men. There's just different ways to be a man. So I think that was really healthy for me to see in growing up, because I could see, you know, that there are different ways to be a man, and so that's cool. So in that, I had a bit of freedom that I could see, you could be a man and have all these different things to your personality, and your likes and your dislikes, and what makes you tick. So that was cool. And then what I also want to say is, some of the behaviors, I could see, um, you could see how some men behave badly, and you can also learn from that and say, okay, well, that really doesn't resonate with me, and that's, not, I'm not going to take that particular piece of it with me, and in what I'm going to be like when I'm a man. I mean, so, and and just and the other male friends that I know um, throughout this process, and just seeing them just being, is kind of nice to have an example of. So there's just so much I could talk about this topic. It would be a very, very long video, so I'm gonna try not to make it too terrible long. But there's a lot out there that I notice in seeing other men just being, and it's neat. But I'd have to say my biggest role model was my dad. And he was always Superman to me. And, you know, that's just, I always idolized him. And in just his sense of fairness was, I think, a very good thing too. He just had a very good sense of fairness and what's right, and justice and honor, and especially integrity. And you own up to stuff that you do. If uh, if you mess up, you own up to it, and things like that. That I think really helped me become the man I am today, and and keeping calm, and keeping your cool. Um, so there's a lot that I could say about this, but definitely I've learned a lot from my dad growing up, and even to this day. And it's neat to see having a father-son relationship with him when I'm an adult. It's been really really neat because we've really connected in a lot of things, and it's neat to see how alike we are. And even though I've always wanted to be just like my dad, I don't think it really took much effort for me to get there. And it's neat for him to see, his son being quite a lot like him. Um, so yeah, my dad's my biggest role model, and always will be, always has been, and always will be. So yeah, that's what I got to say, and hope everybody's doing great. And catch you later. Bye.